This is the FlipNerd.com Expert Real Estate Investing Show, the show for real estate investors, whether you're a veteran or brand new. I'm your host, Mike Hambright, and each week I bring you a new expert guest that will share their knowledge and lessons with you. If you're excited about real estate investing, believe in personal responsibility, and taking control of your life and financial destiny, you're in the right place. This is episode number 368, and today's guest is my friend Pat Precourt. Pat is legendary in the real estate investing industry, not necessarily for doing tons of deals himself, but really for his ability to inspire others to achieve success. Now, if you heard Pat speak before, you'll know that he defines the word wisdom, and you'll leave today's show feeling inspired to take action in your life if something has been holding you back. Today, we discuss Pat's 9 steps to achieve success, and really as a way for you to troubleshoot what step towards success is in your way and how you can overcome it. It's a powerful discussion today that I know you're going to enjoy. Please help me welcome Pat Precourt to the show. Hey, Pat, welcome to the show.
Welcome, man. Happy to be here. Excited to be here. Got a lot to share in a short window of time, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get it in there. In fact, I think every time I talk to you, you've been on the show before, and you help with some of my investor machine coaching stuff and some office hours we've done for elite members and other things. But I think we always have a tendency to run a little bit longer than usual because we get into some pretty deep stuff when you're on, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, Mike, I'm gonna flip this one around today because everybody listening here is doing something in life and trying to achieve something, right? But not always, not that everything always was planned, and I totally get that, right? Because that's the story of my life, right? I learned by getting it wrong first, and then that's what gives me the instructions on how to do it right. So this is what we're gonna do today is more of a troubleshooting guide, because I guarantee you out of 9 steps, everybody's getting half of them right. Some people are getting 3/4 of them right, and if you're hitting a home run, you're nailing all 9 of them. But most likely there's a missing link somewhere, and this allows you to figure out exactly what it is that's stopping you from achieving the outcomes that you want. It's really black and white and super easy to do. So it's going to be kind of exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Pat, before we start, I know that you're legendary. I say you're legendary. I like to say that because I think you're awesome. But for those that don't know you, they're like, "Who's this dude over here that Mike said is wise, but hasn't shared that wisdom with me yet?" Tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us your background.
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, Mike, and you know this, I'm a family guy. I've been married 24 years, almost 25 years. Got 3 awesome kids, 20-year-old, my boy Patrick, and my Samantha is awesome, 17, and my youngest daughter, Danielle, is my baby. She's awesome, too. So that comes first and foremost. And, you know, different than probably or maybe a lot of people that you interview, I value time over money. So all that I do puts one becomes a solution to the other, right? Money is never a goal in what I do. Money just buys back more time in our lives, and that's kind of how I look at life, right? Very, very much stoic in the way I approach things. I like to deal with the truth, with the basics, with the facts. You hear me talk about EQ at a high level, emotional quotient, you know. Emotions are powerful. I put EQ higher in terms of what guides us to success in life, you know. But there's a fine line between being emotional and being in control of our emotions, and it's one of the weaknesses I see in our society today, an emotional immaturity. I'm a martial art fan. I wouldn't say I'm a martial artist because that would almost disrespect those who are true martial artists out there. But I love banging it up in the gym a little, right? We do have a fitness center that's also martial arts center and MMA stuff. Just love doing. You know, I work a lot with entrepreneurs in achieving the outcomes and results that they really want. Sometimes means that I got to stick a mirror up in front of them and figure out what's going on with them, why they're not getting done what they want in order to achieve what they want to do. You know, it always starts with the idea that in order to have more, you have to do more. In order to do more, you have to become more. And oftentimes we try to go right to the have more. Well, if I only had, then I could do, and then I could become, and it doesn't work that way. Many of us will spend 2/3 of our lives fighting the formula before we ever figure that out. So that's a big part of what I do.
Yeah, and I don't think that I think that stuff seems like it's kind of magnified in the real estate investing space. I don't really know why. I feel like because there's so many, they're kind of, a lot of people are lone wolves, and they just, you start to develop this attitude of I've got something to prove here, you know. And I feel like there's a little more so-called kind of machismo in the real estate investor space because, you know, I think it probably has a lot to do with people are showing checks, and there's just a lot of like chest thumping, if you will, more so than a lot of other industries, you know, or certainly probably a lot of other entrepreneurial industries. Would you agree with that, or?
Very much. And, you know, we're brought up, Mike, to compete, and we're taught that competition is a good thing, when in fact it's one of those things that will crush us over time, particularly in business. When you think about this for a second, if I want to compete with you, I have to adapt to what you do. I gotta try to do better what you do. When in fact, if you're doing what's authentic and genuine to you, the best I will ever do would be to be almost as good as you at what you do.
Right.
When in fact, I shouldn't try to compete. For me to compete with you, I have to conform to you, compromise to become you, to try to do what you do, which is quite honestly bullshit. The way we should do it, the way our goals should be set, right, is to work within our own authenticity, genuine and unique to us, because that's where our magic comes up, and that's what allows us to not compete, not to even be the best at what we do, to be the only one that does what we do, and that's where you start separating yourselves from the herd.
Yeah.
You know, the world doesn't need more of what's already out there. The world needs new, fresh, different. And in the real estate world, man, we take this competition, like everybody's comparing to everybody else. And that's like the death of your own authenticity, because it rips that away from you, and now you're trying to conform to what everybody else is doing.
Right.
That's why there's so much. One of the reasons why there's so much struggle there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's dive in. I know we've got limited time. I know we're going to talk about 9 steps to achieve success today. So let's kind of jump into number 1.
I mean, I want to spin the title around, look at this as a troubleshooting guide, right? So we're all doing something. We're all getting some of these steps right. But let's figure out the 1 or 2 that we're really missing and come out of this saying, all right, I'm going to solve these 2 so I can start achieving what I want. So let's start with the definitions, right? And this is step number 1, all right? Let's remove the word goal from our vocabulary. The reason we're going to do that is because so many of us have failed at achieving our goals. Right? So there's a pattern, a track record, an expectation, the outcome. Let's replace it with results and outcomes. When you hear those words, goals versus results and outcomes, it triggers something a little different in the brain. We're already in a different space. I'm not writing down my goals. I'm writing down the results and the outcome to achieve. So start speaking your outcomes, right? Let's start with that. Number 2 is really simple. It's simple.
Can I ask you about outcomes? Can I ask you about outcomes real fast? So a lot of times, how do you balance? Because I think where some people fail or where some people fall short is they either set a goal or an outcome too small or too big. Like a lot of us, you know, we kind of want to dream big, right? Like we want to have some big, hairy, audacious goal or outcome, but then our odds of hitting that outcome are smaller if we set it too big. But if we set it too small, then we don't stretch that far. I mean, what's the balance there to kind of have an outcome that is achievable? Yeah. Are you looking to change your life through real estate investing? If you're interested in either getting started or taking your business to the next level, please check out FlipNerd's private program at theinvestormachine.com. This is the most robust real estate investor coaching, networking, and mastermind on the planet, and designed for your success. If you're ready to roll up your sleeves, ready to take personal responsibility for your own success, and ready to dive into a world-class instructional coaching program that provides you step-by-step instruction to help you achieve financial freedom, then you should apply today. Spaces are limited, and candidates are only considered after an application and interview process. Our 12-month investor program is unparalleled. Think you might be a fit? Learn more today at theinvestormachine.com. But then our odds of hitting that outcome are smaller if we set it too big. But if we set it too small, then we don't stretch that far. I mean, what's the balance there to kind of have an outcome that is achievable? Yeah.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. We could spend the entire day on this, but let me just say this, that this big, hairy, audacious goal stuff is quite honestly bullshit, and here's why. Is we get so excited about setting these outrageous goals, believe in them. If we don't believe in them, we can't achieve them. That's just a psychological piece that takes place in our brain. If we don't think in our brain there's any chance of us achieving that outcome, it ain't ever going to happen. So we're wasting our time. So really the objective here is to set a goal that you either believe in or you have at least have faith in. Faith is a step that precedes belief. Belief is usually a result, it's an outcome, something that's happening, and that's where beliefs are established, right? Faith precedes that, and we don't have the tangible evidence, but we do have faith based on who we are, where we've been, things like that, that we can achieve that outcome. And then go one step behind it, so beyond it, make it a little scary, right? A little challenging, believable, and a little edge to it. We're outside our comfort zone. So the other part that you don't want to fall prey to, and this is the lower end of that, is falling prey to setting goals based on our means and not on our ends. Meaning that we start calculating how smart we are, how much money we have, how tall we are, how fit we are, all these other things. We let that determine how far we can go, which means we've come. We can only go as far as we've come because that's all our means allow. So that would never allow for advancement. So we have to focus on ends and create the means to achieve the ends. So our minds don't allow for that to happen. Right. You got to find a balance between the two. Pick something that you either believe in or at least have faith in, and make it a little scarier, right? Something that will tweak you a little and achieve it. Not scary. It's not tall enough. That's probably your barometer for it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, man. Let's jump into number 2.
Number 2, with absolute clarity, define your outcome. We oftentimes will define goals, right, with vague terms. I want to go on vacation. In 2018, I want to go on vacation. That's not a goal. That's not actionable. It's too vague in definition, right? I want to be financially free. There's no such thing as that. There's no definition that you attach to that. There's no action steps because they're not clear enough the outcome. On vacation, when do you want to go on vacation? Where do you want to go on vacation? And what do you want to travel? Who's going to go with you? What are you going to pack? How long are you going to go for? Add that clarity. And here's the thing about adding clarity to the outcome. Each time you add information to the clarity, and you can never stop defining with more clarity. But each time you add another layer of clarity, it tells the universe exactly what it needs to do for you to open the door to achieving it. Does that make sense?
That's
the universe
awesome.
is outrageously abundant in what it has to offer to us, and willing, ready, and able to help if we just give it clear instructions. And one of the ways of doing that is getting crystal clear on what we want. You know, we bounce around here. We confuse the crap out of the universe. It's like I've thrown in the towel on you because I have no idea what you want. Or it'll give us something in our lives that we don't want. Like, where did that come from? Well, the universe, like, you asked for that, right? It's kind of like in live events, Mike, I do this little test. I said, listen, I want you guys to look around the room right now and pick out everything you see that's red. We can do this real quick. Look around and find everything in the room that's red. So all of you listeners, do this with me. You'll enjoy this, right? Now cover your eyes, right? Don't cheat on this. I'm going to ask you a little memory test. Cover your eyes like this, right? Now scream out everything. And the room goes deaf because we told it specifically to find red. You're anticipating red. So although you saw all the green, you didn't record it. It's not there. Clarifying the outcomes you want, puts all the resources you want that are already there right in front of you and makes you aware of them. That's how powerful it is. Does that make sense too?
Yeah, and when you start trying to achieve your goals, you have to get a bunch of feedback there, Pat. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but when you start trying down the path of working on your goals, if you have to spend a bunch of time thinking, like if you didn't have a plan, like if you didn't define what it is that you want and how you're going to get there, then if you are forced to think about that at the time when it comes time to do it, then it seems like it's a lot harder job. Like, because you didn't kind of plan in advance, if that makes sense, and like you said, define with clarity what the steps are, where you're going to go on vacation, and things like that. If you just, because then when it comes time, hey, I'm supposed to go on vacation in a month. you're much less likely to do it because you're like, well, I got to figure out where to go, and the flights are too expensive now because I waited to the last minute. And if you don't kind of define that stuff up front, then you're much less likely to hit your goals or your outcomes. So let's start on step 3.
Step 3, accept unconditionally where you are now. Get crystal clear on your truth. And what I mean by this, very often, right, we do one of two things. Instead of getting just to our truth, our reality of what our situation is, right? This goes back to like the John Stockdale paradox, right? We either make things better than they are, we pretend in some fantasy positivity world of BS, right, that does not serve us, or we pretend things are worse than they are. But it's only at the truth that we can create change. Everything else is a fantasy world, right? It's almost like this, Mike. It's like if you said, hey, Pat, how do you go from Connecticut to California? I need driving instructions. Well, until we get clear on where we're starting from, the truth, at 2 Elm Road in Cromwell, Connecticut, all the other instructions are not going to serve you. They're going to be coming from some other spot, either up here or down here. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
And we have a hard time with the truth, and I understand that. But if you truly want change, get to your truth. You know, if you're being a real ass about something in your life, accept the truth of it so that you can get over it, right? But if you keep pretending that it's not that, you know, I use the alcoholism as a prime example, right? There are ways to solve for drinking. But if you don't admit that you have a problem, the ways aren't going to serve you, right?
Right.
They won't work at all. Next, so once we're clear on our outcome, crystal clear with absolute definition, the greater the definition, the more the universe will step up to show you the way. And once we're crystal clear on our truth, exactly where we are right now, our truth is our point A, our clarity, our outcome that we desire is our point B. Draw a straight line between them. And this is step number 4. Write down actionable steps that move you forward on that line directly between point A and point B. What this allows you to do is ask yourself the genuine question. This has to do with focus. Is this next step deviating off the line or moving me straight towards the outcome that I want? And that's a yes-no question. And what it does, it helps eliminate a lot of the crap that we put on our to-do list and that we put in front of us, the distractions that we bring into our lives. And by the way, distractions don't happen to us. Distractions are something we choose, is to get away from what we're doing. We do that very intentionally. That's another discussion. But know that if distractions don't happen to you, you go out and find them intention, typically to avoid something. But we'll save that for another day. Yeah. So this speaks to what you spoke of earlier. Next, once we have the actionable steps from your point A to your point B, write down the known obstacles that you believe will be in the way of you achieving. Really all this is, this requires you to turn around, look backwards, and write down all of the things that stopped you from making progress in the past. I ran out of money. I got divorced. This one right here, between these 2 years, a little voice started getting really loud, doubting myself. I lost confidence. I started thinking that I wasn't good enough, didn't know enough, didn't have enough, right? These are all the things that get in our way. We get all excited at the front end, and then that excitement drops off, and then that little voice steps up. Write it down. Write down what those little voices tell you, the lies that they tell you, right? And then let's start providing remediation for them. What can we do to solve for them before we get to them? Understand their lies, right? So how do we defend against them before we get to them?
Yeah. So when it happens, you've already got a solution. Hey, we got a solution. When this happens, not a problem. I already know what I'm going to do here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, there's this little play on words I remind myself of all the time, man. You either wait for what you want or you create what you want, right? And this is a form of creation. This whole process is a form of creation. You wait around, guess what? Life's going to pass you by. It requires you to step up, make a big demand of the world, of the universe, and start taking what you deserve. That's how we achieve in this world, right? And preparing yourself with an arsenal of tools to overcome the obstacles that you know get in your way are part of that process. Just thinking, hey, I don't have to prepare, nothing's going to go wrong, or I'll be fine when I get there is quite honestly, it's almost like a very arrogant approach. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know, it's like sending infantry into battle without guns. Oh, we'll be fine. We don't need guns or helmets or shields or any of that crap. We're good. Nobody would do that, right?
Right.
No, they're the most highly trained individuals, and they still go as prepared as possible. Next one, this is a big one that plays right into it, okay? Getting back to our why. And when I say our why, Mike, I don't mean I want to make $1 million. That's not a why. Money is only a result. Money is not a why. Money is not a purpose. And the reason you got to get clear on a why is we will run into obstacles. Look at your why as providing X-ray vision that allows you to see through the obstacles and never lose sight of the outcomes that you wrote down in the first place. That's what a why does for you. When you remove that and all you see is the obstacle and you lose sight of the outcome, guess what? You're stuck. You've lost direction. Now your focus is on the obstacle and not the outcome of the result. That's what the X-ray vision does for you. That's what your why does for you. That's the juice you need when the going gets tough, and the going always gets tough. Right. Don't kid yourself on this one, right? That goes into this next one. This is a big one. Accept feedback. Feedback is one of the most valuable parts of this process. Feedback typically, if you're like, well, Pat, what is feedback? Typically shows up in the form of pain. Let's just accept that. Pain got a bad rap when we were young, right? When we were kids, we probably hurt our knee. Ow, it hurts, and cry and all that kind of crap. Pain is one of the greatest gifts the universe has ever. Pain. There's two types of general pain I like to categorize. Right? One is, hey, Mike, you're screwing up right now. You got to, right? So this could be you jogging down the road and you roll your ankle. You get a lot of pain shooting up your leg. Says, Mike, if you continue to run on this, you're going to make it worse, right? And so take that analogy and carry it over into life, whether it be in a relationship, relationship's going south, well, I got to start changing something, or business deal that went bad because I didn't do my homework. I didn't go and prepare, and I lost a ton of money because I let my emotions dictate my decisions instead of vice versa, right? There's that type of pain. But then there's another type of pain. There's a type of pain that grows us. There's a type of pain that challenges us. And this is the kind of pain that when we encounter fear and things like that, when we're pushed beyond our known boundaries, right? And it's the pushing through that pain that grows us and makes us never goes away. That's the cool thing about it. Each time we punch through this, it makes us stronger, and that can never be taken back from us. That in life that we can fall back on. Yep. Right? So the key here is a couple things on it. Number one, track it. Right? Write down what's going on. Track the feedback. Number two, record it so you have some record of what's going on so you can go to step three, which is evaluate it, right? To sit back objectively, interpret the feedback you're coming in, and then the fourth one is evolve from it. Evolve is not change. Evolve is growth forward. The evolution is in place to perpetuate our longevity, right? You can change for the worse. I can take a rock and blow the thing up in a billion little pieces. It ain't better. It's worse, right? You can change by, growing old and dying. You change. You can better yourself, so to speak. What I'm talking change in the form of evolution. That's the feedback that we're taking the feedback to evolve to a better place, to become better, smarter, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever you want to be from the feedback that we want.
Awesome.
Right? Now, the last two go hand in hand. All right. Number one, well, not number one, it's really number 8. Begin now. Everybody's like, I got this. This is awesome. I'm going to do this shit tomorrow. Guess what? Tomorrow is nothing more than a reflection of today magnified. So whatever you do today will be no different tomorrow. It just magnified. And that's why each day you put something off, it becomes less likely that you'll ever do it. And the question is, man, and this is like a question I ask myself, Mike, all the time whenever I'm a little hesitant or resistant about doing something and I know I should be look myself square in the mirror, say, Pat, how much longer are you going to continue to choose to accept your current results and outcomes? And that's a really ballsy question to ask yourself. How much longer are you going to choose to accept the results that you don't like? Right? That's a high level of responsibility and accountability. Those two go hard right there.
Yep.
And then the final step, Mike, and this I learned from a buddy of mine quite a while ago, is every single day take a step towards that result, that outcome that you want, that you desire, that you deserve. What happens, you create a habit out of it. Then you create a lifestyle around it. And then you tell the universe with absolute intention exactly what it is you want. Every day, you'll manifest more in your life, needs, wants, services that provide what you need to get you to where you want to go, if that makes any sense. When we start bouncing around, or we stop, we take a break, things get confusing, right? And those are the 9 steps, and these are, you can use them steps to achieve pretty much anything you want, or you can use them as a troubleshooting guide on something you're already doing. Try to figure out why you're not getting exactly where you want to be, or exactly what you want. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it's awesome, Pat. So a lot of the stuff that we talked about here is probably kind of self-management, right? Like these are things you're doing for yourself. What are your thoughts, or can you share some thoughts on having somebody in your life to help hold you accountable as well? Because sometimes that's a lot more powerful. The fear that I'm going to let somebody else down. Sometimes people are usually people are more afraid to let somebody else down than to let themselves down, right? I don't know why that is, but any thoughts on kind of how to have somebody else hold you accountable, whether it's a spouse or a business partner or whatever?
Spouse, business partner, a mentor, a coach, whatever you want to call it. I personally know of no one who's achieved absolute greatness without somebody on the outside pulling them beyond where they think they could be. Whether it be on the athletic field, on the court, Steve Jobs, creating what he has done for this world. Anybody and everybody I know that are high achievers have a coach, or multiple coaches, or multiple accountability partners, right? To allow them, because we can only see so much from the inside out. They're from the outside in. They have a different perspective. And I know there's a lot of people, I guarantee you listening to this right now, saying, I don't need a coach, and really it's our lack of being a lack of willingness to be vulnerable. And needing or wanting a coach makes us less of who we are. Now, let me just separate for a second without getting into some quicksand here. There's a difference between, say, a coach, whether you call it a life coach, whether you call it a performance coach, peak performance coach, and a therapist. Okay. Typically, people who see therapists have mental challenges that they need worked out. And therapists, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just stating the difference. Therapists typically go backwards before they can come forwards. They deal in the past so they can come back to the present. The coach, mentor is not there to fix you. You're not broken. It's to get the best performance out of you. And they go into in the future to recreate the present, to create better future results. They don't go in the back and try to figure out why you're broken, because they're the assumption you're perfectly cool, right? Yep. You're just capable of a higher performance. That's the big difference there. And sometimes when we talk about a coach or mentor, we're like, that's like a mental therapist. No. Big difference, right? And there's a place for both of them. Does that make any sense what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome, Pat. Well,
let me share with you one other quick thing here.
Sure. Because
there's still some people that are probably trying to shape this discussion. But I like bringing things down to the most simplest terms, right? You want to achieve something. Say in this case, there's a lot of entrepreneurs on this phone, on this call right here. There's only 3 things you have to answer for. If you get all 3 things answered properly, and this guy will help fill it in, you will achieve whatever it is you want to achieve to be successful, and however you define it. Number 1, you have to know what it is you have to do, right? And in order to achieve it, remember that clarity thing we defined in step 2? In order to achieve it, you have to know what to do, right? In our world of real estate, I'm one thing I have to do is generate a whole bunch of leads, right? Next, I got to convert leads, right, and so forth and so on. Identify what it is you have to do. Second, you have to identify how to do it. You know what to do, now you have to know how to do it. And that's where you find the training, the experts, the knowledge to execute what it is you want to do. And then third, same as we mentioned here already, just know why you're doing it in the first. That's how that's almost like your compass, your direction. And it answers questions along the way. It gives you direction as to where the next step is. And this troubleshooting guide helps you fill in all three of those, but that brings it down to a simpler level. And if you're struggling in a business model, go back and see if you have those those three questions answered and you're executing, you'll do fine. But if you're not, you're either not executing or you're missing one of those questions. Does that make sense?
That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe Pat, just one last comment here, a question for you is, let's talk about the why a little bit.
Sure.
A lot of times, people get up and say, well, I'm doing this for my family. I want to provide, a lot of real estate investors, I will say probably a lot of people early on really are doing it for their family. They're trying to survive. They're trying to quit their job. When you start as a real estate investor, a lot of people are scrappy and they're trying to just, it's more about survival for a lot of people, right, early on. But then you get to a point to where if you have some level of success, you are, you're not worried about eating anymore. If you start to get to a point where you're doing a few deals a month, you're probably beyond the point of survival mode, right? And then you start to your why changes, right? Your why has to change, right? I mean, so I think a lot of people, probably me included, have struggled with defining what their why is after you achieve some level of success, whether it's giving back or whatever. But maybe you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and so I would argue your why doesn't change. You're focused on what part of your why changes. So,
okay.
To your point, if I ask a room of 100 entrepreneurs to stand up and say, "Tell me your why," my wife, my husband, my kids, financial stability, all that kind of stuff, to what you just said, right?
Yeah.
I say there's two parts to our why. There's your priority side, and then there's your greater responsibility. Because here's the truth: there's no one on this earth that was created for the sole purpose of just raising a family. We're bigger than that. The uniqueness of us, the God-given skills and talents innate to us, the magic that each of us possess, Mike, are so much bigger than that. I'm not playing that down at all. But that is definitely part of our why and our priority. But we have a greater responsibility.
Yeah.
Interpretation of it. To take all of those unique skills, our magic, right, and impact this world in a positive way. That's our greater why. How you do that now starts getting into your purpose and your passion. But we have our priority, our financial well-being, our security of the family, and our greater responsibility. Take these skills that were given to us, innate, unique, special, one-off, us, right, and impact the world in a better way. So I was driving out to Colorado 2 years ago with my son when he decided he didn't want to go to school. He wanted to go out to live in Breckenridge, Colorado on all by himself and on his own dime. And on the way out there, one of the questions he asked me, we had a bunch of kind of crazy conversation. One of the questions he asked me was, Dad, when is enough enough? When is enough enough? So Patrick, it's never enough. But let me explain why, right? There's a couple parts to this. Number one, before you judge that, because someone said, well, sure, there's a point when enough is enough. I'd say no, because in order for enough to be enough for you, we'd have to stop creating. We'd have to stop attracting and generating, right? Which means we'd stop using these God-given skills and talents that are innate and special to us, disrespecting them. So the key here to understand this in kind of a ball would be to always appreciate what you have and where you are, no matter what, good, bad, or indifferent, and always want more. But let me now show you where that takes us, right? Remember that formula we talked about at the beginning of this call? In order to do more, you have to be more. We've heard this all our lives. Many of us just never paid attention. Be, do, have, be, do, have, be, do, have. Well, now is the other part to it. We become more so that we can do more, so that we can give more. And that's the impact side. That's our greater responsibility. So there's never enough. Our job is to forever create. What we do with that, though, shifts over time. At first, it's our own security, and then it's those around us. Now, once we have that, now it's making an impact in the world, and that starts bringing in our passions and our purpose. If you do it, maybe you want to make it the planet a greener planet. So the way you do it, Mike, is you go around this country planting plants. Fantastic. fantastic. You're making an impact, right? Challenged, fatherless inner city kids. Awesome. Then that's how you do it, right? But that has to do now with you personally and your passions. But the formula and our why is no different. We have our priority, our immediate family, those around us, those we love and dear and take care of. But our greater responsibility is the impact we leave on this world. Because at the end of the day, truth is, once we die, nobody's remembering Pat or Mike. That's the truth of it. There is the impact that we made on this world.
Yep.
That's the part that's going to count.
Yep.
Does that answer your question?
Yep. That's good, man. That's good. Awesome.
Big question. Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah. So, Pat, thanks for spending time with us today. Definitely appreciate it.
Love being here. I could do this all day long, man.
I know, man. Awesome. Well, hey, if folks wanted to learn more about you, I know you've got a lot of good stuff going on. Where do they go to learn more?
Just my website, pat@patrickprecourt.com, or find me on Facebook. When you put Patrick Precourt, find me or my son, and hopefully you'll be able to figure out the difference between the two. I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again for spending time with us. Definitely appreciate it.
Been an absolute pleasure, man. Anytime you want to have me back, I got more to share.
I know you do, and I appreciate it. Everybody, hey, this was episode number 368 with Pat Precourt. We appreciate you. We're pumping out content for you, so hopefully you're enjoying it. If you could, please, I don't ask for this enough. Honestly, guys, after 368 episodes, I haven't asked you for much, but we do need. I always forget to ask this, but I would love it if you'd go out to iTunes and give us a review, or Google Play, or wherever you watch it at. I know iTunes, truthfully, makes it a pain in the ass to leave a rating for somebody, so I appreciate you taking a couple extra minutes for that. But it adds a lot of value to us. It helps us. It's really the one thing, other than meeting with guests like Pat, that energizes me. But it energizes me when I know that people are listening and people enjoy the show. So if you could just find us on iTunes and give us a rating or review, or Google Play, or anywhere else where you watch us at. So everybody, appreciate it. Pat, thanks again, my friend.
Peace, Mike. Appreciate
it, man. Everybody, have a
Okay,
great day. We'll see you next
well.
time. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the FlipNerd.com Investing Show. If you're not yet an elite member of FlipNerd, you're missing out. We have tons of great training, including a new detailed masterclass published each month, and live training webinars with experts twice a month. Plus, you'll get access to all of our archives, where we already have a growing library of masterclasses and other training videos. Elite members also get membership in our incredible online Mastermind group, where many of the top real estate investors from across the country, including many of the hundreds of guests I've had on the show in the past, are already members. Whether you're brand new, looking to get started, or a veteran, you simply must join today. I promise you won't be disappointed. To learn more or join today, please visit flipnerd.com/lab. That's flipnerd.com/lab. See you on the next show.